Speaking about jokes, what are some takeaways from this Katt Williams interview?
I want y'all to lead with that. Well, my biggest one. Okay, I'll say this. Um, the the manifestation parts I liked a lot, for sure. So when he said, "Yo, I'm one of the richest people on earth. Whatever I want, I can have it if I put my mind to," I think that was incredibly powerful. The parts that he talked about consistently getting better at his craft. I think the business lessons in 100 city tour that
Mm-hmm.
he finances. That's our model. Love that talk. We'll get to the spicy stuff later, but the business lessons I pulled out of it and how giving he is. Helping comedians behind the scenes. Boosie even said when he first got out of jail, Katt just gave him 15,000, invited him to a show. So the giving part was touching, and some of the more sentimental parts about him coming from a broken home, and you can still see some of that pain there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why he has so many children now, and he's trying to make sure those kids don't go through the same troubles that he went through. It was a lot of salacious stuff in there, but those parts that I picked out that had the most impact on me, and also too, I put this on Twitter, but like certain people when they just come on a platform, they just dominate out the gate. I think that's a skill set. Umar does it. Budjanisa has done it when she's been on the platform. Like you ask Budjanisa one question, she'll answer 15 back to back. I think from a showmanship standpoint, there was a lot to learn. And also Shannon and being a host and interviewer and broadcaster, giving his guest room to speak, I think was very powerful. So if we're gonna start with the positive, those are the positives that I would have taken from the interview.
I will second that. I think the power of independence was big when he talked about funding his own tour,
Yep.
and taking the credit for that. A lot of times people say that was great, who did this, and it's like, nah, that was me. I thought that was dope. I think him calling them out, the new age of comedians by name, was important.
That was
He could
fire.
have just said I liked everybody, but he called each and one of them out independently, and he might have missed a few. But the fact that he named some tells me that he's a student of the craft still. I think he
Mhm.
was a student of his time. And if you listen to that, he literally watched every episode of Club Shay Shay,
Did his homework.
did his homework, and came back and rebuted everything that someone had said throughout every episode. And there was a lot of truths, and some of them maybe they were fabricated, but he studied before he got there. And a lot of times people don't do that. They come and they're like, "I'm just gonna do this interview. I'm gonna sit down, and I don't have a message."
Yep.
And he did. He did. He seized his moment, and it. I mean, to call it viral would be an understatement. You're talking about 35 million views in less than a week, and
That's crazy.
they were asking Unc, like, could that ever happen again? And he was like, I don't think something like that can ever happen again. I'd have to get Michael Jordan on here to tell me why he retired in 1993. It would be the only way. And even then, I don't think it would catch people by surprise because it just
Yeah.
needs a level of controversy. But those things stuck out, and definitely the education piece. And shout out to Principal Ra. I know he clipped that piece up about teachers being underpaid and undervalued and have the
Yep.
most important job. I thought that was super important, super important. And you could tell he's a bright dude. You can tell he's a bright dude. And he had a lot to get off his chest, and he waited for this moment. He waited right to the end of the year, accepted the invite, and the rest is now history. History, 35 million views. That's incredible. Shout out to Unc, and shout out to Club Shay
Yeah.
Shay, and shout out to him for creating a moment for us.
Rashad, what about you?
Yeah, I think that Katt Williams is one of the greatest comedians. He's a very funny person, but
And was signed to Dipset at one point.
for sure, that's a fact. But I just feel like I'm gonna take the contrarian view on this point. Like I said before, man, you die a hero or live long enough to be a villain. I just don't like the narrative of like whenever somebody becomes successful, it's because they signed a deal with Illuminati or they sold their soul. And I don't agree with that. And like, I see a lot of things personally, and I know that people are smart. Like I know Kevin Hart's a really smart person. I read his
Yeah.
book, somebody I actually studied, and I got a chance to see him speak. And he's an extremely intelligent person as far as his business acumen.
Kev Sharp.
So I don't know. I don't know. I just don't feel like even like truth telling has limits, because it's like, I think like Charlamagne said, I spoke with him, but you calling somebody a plant, but who's the gardener? Right? Like, you can call out a soldier, but even a top soldier is still a soldier. So until you actually start calling out names of generals and lieutenants, it's just infighting. It's not really going anywhere. The only person that really ever called out generals in a semi-cohesive state was Dame Dash. Kanye did it, but Kanye's not mentally stable. So like the only one that was like, like kind of semi-stable that actually did it was Dame. That's something I really respect. Like, call out somebody that really has power. Harvey Weinstein's already done. That's an easy call out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like if you're going to start calling people out, call people out that really have the power. He's saying like somebody wore a dress, but who made them wear a dress? Who financed the movie? Who's the person that's really behind? Who's like, now we start to really see it. Like, just calling out people at the end of the day, like, they might have money, but they don't really have power. So how productive is it really? It's a good entertainment. And it leads people get swayed easily. So like, oh, we're in the age of truth telling. How are we in the age of truth telling? The people in power are still in power and nobody knows who they are. So what truth are we telling? What exposure? Who's really getting exposed? You know what I'm saying? Like,
people who doing nasty work, but
who's really getting exposed? What I'm saying, it's not the age of exposure. It sound good.
You don't think so?
It's just a catchy phrase. Nobody really getting exposed, because the people that really get exposed, you don't even know who they are. You never even heard of them before, and they'll never get exposed. So it's like, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of
Epstein list just came out.
And nobody said one thing about it. That's my problem.
It's not as viral as this, but you know why? Epstein list came out.
And you know why nobody said nothing about the Epstein? Because the only person that they knew was Bill Clinton, as far as like a name. If it was Diddy on that list, it would be all over Shade Room. If it was Beyonce on that list, it would be all over every black media outlet possible. 250 people's names. These is powerful people. You don't know who these people are, so it's like, all right, we don't care. That's what I'm saying. It's fake. We can act like we in the age of exposure. It's no. They gave you 250 names of very extremely powerful and wealthy people, and nobody said one thing.
I think the names that they gave, people already knew. Like Clinton was there, Trump was there, Prince Edward was there. But like you said, there's 247 people that are dignitaries that we didn't even think of, and it happened simultaneously. This interview happens, and now that becomes the thing that people talk about, especially in our community. That becomes the thing that we talk about, and whatever happened over there, all right, whatever.
People just want to be entertained. That's it. It's not about exposing. It's not about this. It's just about entertainment. If you can entertain people, you're gonna always have a career and something to talk about. So it's just fake. I feel like it's just fake outrage. Nobody really care about exposing. Nobody. It's not real to me. I don't really think it's real until I start to see real power being attacked. I don't really look at it as real. I just look at it as entertainment.
Can you define real power?
Like I said, people that's really in position. If you want to talk about Hollywood, who's really behind Hollywood? Who's really in control of films? Who's really moving the finances? That's people that's in power. If you want to talk about business, who's really running hedge funds? Who's really behind Wall Street? If you want to talk about politics, who's really running financial campaigns to get people elected? That's what I'm saying. Like, this is, other than that, it sound good. It's a slogan. That's all it is, like a bumper sticker.
Fair. Well, I mean, we're only in January. I think more to come. I think once they put this, it's going to be a lot more heat on this.
And Kanye speak, but Kanye not mentally stable. So Kanye will say something, then he'll come back and apologize. Then he'll put his wife naked. And I love Kanye. I'm one of the biggest Kanye fans ever in history of life. But I mean, bro can't really be taken seriously right now. He's not somebody that can actually. So when he says something, it don't really even matter because he gonna apologize. You can't expose something and then apologize.
No, the walking naked and barefoot is wild.
Nah, you always apologizing. Like, my whole thing is like,
that's what happens when you get death threats, though. You gotta apologize.
But don't say something if you're gonna apologize.
Or be concise.
A lot of people who do that.
But he could be concise in the thought. Sometimes it's not, right? Like he'll apologize and then he'll do the listening for the album in Vegas and he'll have the same thought. It's like, well, what? This don't even make sense. Or why are you apologizing right before the rollout of a shoe? Right?
So
like,
is it really an apology,
You know what
or
I'm
is it
saying?
to sell your
Or
album,
was it part of sell your shoe?
sell your socks? Like I said, shout out to Ye, but come on, I think
Yeah, shout out to you.
It's the
But
same.
did Katt tell a lie though, other than the 440 and the 3,000 pages?
I don't really know what's a lie or not, but
That's what I'm
like
saying.
I said, I'm not in that inner circle.
Yeah.
But I just feel like when you just say like, all right, Ludacris got the role because he's an Illuminati. I mean, what is Illuminati? I've never seen Illuminati. I haven't seen this yet, but I don't know. I just find it hard to believe.
You didn't get the email?
That's what I'm about to say.
It might be my junk.
I got the email. I didn't get the Lake Como email, but I got the Illuminati email.
It might be in my junk. Or
Perhaps.
something.
Yeah, the spam. Got you.
But
Perhaps.
and even like you calling somebody's wife ugly.
That's too far.
I don't really
That's
rock with Ludacris' wife is not ugly though.
But you don't even do that.
I just don't see the benefit in doing that. I feel like he's hurt, and he probably has a lot of legitimate gripes with people. So I can't speak on that because he might have personal issues. But Steve Harvey, everybody know he had a man unit. That wasn't new information. That came out 10 years ago.
Yeah, and it's even instant. The attack on him is like he's a gatekeeper, but the young comedians that you named, he plays a major role in their success.
He didn't attack one gatekeeper. Nobody.
No, I'm talking about he was saying gatekeeper. He was mentioning him in that sense. But then, shout out to 85 South. But to a man, they will tell you the role that he played in their career. So it just kind of, I don't know his truth because we're not from that circle, right? So I can't say what he's saying is a lie. But I know that the work that these guys put in, and I know some of the works that and the influence that he had on them. That part I do know.
But my last thing with Katt, like I said, I'm actually a Katt Williams fan. But I just feel like there's inconsistencies in it. Like he talked about, like he didn't want to wear a dress, and he talked about like a lot of Black empowerment themes and stuff like that. But I'm like, your whole career was built on being a pimp. So it's like, which is better, wearing a dress or being a pimp? Like a pimp literally puts women on the track and they sell their bodies for money to men. There's nothing funny about being a pimp. Like that's not. There's no empowering thing about being a pimp. Like I said, I'm not knocking it, but it's like when you start knocking one person, you got to make sure like it's not like you played a Malcolm X your whole life and you trying to like uplift Black people. Like you played a pimp in Friday and you played a series of pimps. So it's kind of like the pot calling the kettle black. Like how is that empowering or how is that beneficial to society? Like you want your daughter to be a prostitute? But like I said, I mean, it don't even matter what it is because it's like people are very emotional and they just say like, and I realize that people just hate people at the top. So it's like, yeah, they all gatekeepers, they all Illuminati, they all
I mean, but I think the biggest point he was touching on was integrity, and I don't know which parts were true and the joke stealing and all that because there was some reports of him stealing jokes came out, but I think the biggest thing he was pushing on was people not being fair or trying to hold people back. And I know that's something I don't practice. I know some of y'all don't practice. Even like with Keys, like every time I would see Keys, I'd be like, yo, get on stage, kill everybody, including me. Don't hold back. But if everyone doesn't feel like that and people are doing sucker shit behind the scenes to keep people from being elevated, I can see why he would have. But I get your point about not mentioning the gatekeepers. But if we want to mention the gatekeepers, we can. We can do it.
My whole thing is this, man. If we're in the age of telling the truth, then just tell the truth. Tell the whole truth, not part of the truth. And don't just attack somebody that looks like you. Attack everybody. You gotta go full-fledged. Like I said, that's why I respect Dame. Because Dame don't care. Dame attack everybody. Say what you want about Dame. He's equal opportunity. He's equal opportunity attacker.
Yeah.
And he spoke at the highest level to the highest people. And he paid the consequences for it.
Absolutely. That's a lot that comes with that too. That's a lot that most people don't want to carry that burden.
Love.
Well,
we're gonna leave with that.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay. One last thing. What will you say to the naysayers that say that we're caping just because we have a relationship with Steve? Because
Nothing.
you know it's gonna come out tomorrow.
I won't say anything. I won't say anything.
Good luck, love. Good luck.
Well,
I don't have to defend my opinion. It's just my opinion.
yeah.
Good luck.
You don't have to agree. You don't have to agree with my opinion. I don't have to defend my opinion either.
I like this energy.
Like,
I like this energy.
that's just a fact. It's just a fact.
Yeah.